The top idiot of 2021 for me is
2021 was a crazy year, so we're going to do a year-end roundup of 2021. This is your daily catch-up. Hey guys, welcome back to part 2 of our roundup of 2021 where we talk about whatever happened throughout the year. If you haven't watched the first episode, go watch that first, or you can continue this but it will be a little bit out of context. So, number 5, we basically found out that in Ngee Ann Poly, they have some ritual that involves urination.
in the wee hours of the night.
Hey, saving that one, very nice. So yeah lah, as part of some ritual in like the student council or whatever, there was a video that leaked. That's not the only thing that leaked. That basically had, I think it was the facils. The facils were like peeing on like some of the participants, and then from that story, more shit started coming up. That like
More shit.
Hey!
Oh, that's too far. Okay.
Too much.
No, but the horrible part was that there were allegations of sexual assault and all that started coming out also.
Yeah, and we also covered this on MLG.
Yeah, we did do a video on it.
I mean, a lot of those activities crossed the line, but there were a lot of like questionable but still fun stuff.
In the grey area.
Like what?
So will you be okay if like your daughter next time like is
Peed on?
forced to sure?
No, that's the cross the line stuff.
No, but what's an example of a never cross the line stuff?
Like, I don't know, but this might be really, this might get me in trouble.
Can the guy do push-ups on your daughter? Multiple guys? Was that how it worked?
No, okay. Honestly, I think that's okay. But once again, I'm not the girl. I'm not the helpless girl.
Wait, but we'll
Then you set me up for this.
You are trying to find where's the line, right? But
Yeah.
the things that are being called out for are activities like this lah.
No, so you're okay if someone do push-ups on pet?
In the camp, I guess.
Very interesting.
But you know that pet is uncomfortable with this kind of stuff.
No lah, of course
Yeah
not lah.
lah.
So once the girls uncomfortable, then no already. But it's not all fun and games for the guys, and it's not like all the girls hate it. That's what I'm trying to say.
But like I think
There could be certain ones whereby the pairing, if it's this guy, okay, but he is that guy, I don't want. You know what I'm saying?
it's like how hot guys can get away with shit and like ugly
Yeah.
guys can get away with shit. No, but like at the end of the day, what is the objective, right?
Can't even get away with piss, dude.
What's the objective that these things take place,
They say it's bonding.
right? And so like, can bonding still happen? The same level of bonding still be achieved using less risque means.
Okay, I do think that, I mean, like, aside from all the sexual allegations and all that stuff, right? The normal, like, camp stuff, right?
Yeah.
Slightly more normal camp stuff. I think if when you go through hardship with someone, you do get bonded more.
Yeah.
Or hard shit.
I do not want to go through any hardship with anyone.
I mean, there are other ways to like simulate hardships lah. I would think.
I was scared for the next one.
The next chrysanthemum, then
But I feel like the funny thing was that with these cases, right, like there was no adult, like a teacher or somebody,
Chaperone.
an authoritative figure involved, right? And then a lot of people say that because of like there should have been lah, and it would have changed the situation a bit, made it a bit safer and whatnot. But I've also heard of people in CCAs where the coaches, right? Because sometimes the school coaches are not from the school itself also.
But they might be seniors also.
Seniors, or they are just like from
Third
outside
party,
one.
yeah.
And then the coaches also have their own weird practices or like if they're a bit chikope or whatever, right? Then, but they are supposedly the adult figure in the environment, and they are supposed to be the ones taking care of the students and whatnot. Yeah, but then when they...
So it got to the point whereby it's not whether this is morally okay or whether this might make someone feel uncomfortable, but it gets to the point whereby if I do this and people take a photo, will I get into trouble? But it's like a second layer of thinking now.
Stop getting caught.
I actually completely forgot that this was this year.
Yeah, it really felt like last year.
Nothing on this list kind of feels.
How come they can do this though? No COVID meh?
This was
No,
when
that was another point of contention, right? Because some of
That's
them
true.
were maskless also, and then they were called.
No, so this took place in March, where I think we were like opening up to like 8 people,
Right.
Wow.
and so
Okay,
the peeing incident I think was involving a group of 4. So technically still okay.
Okay,
Within legal means.
Within legal means. Moving on. Number 4 on the list was the River Valley High School murder. So if you guys don't remember this, so like a student basically got hold of an axe and murdered a younger student.
But in the process, we learned also that the entire education process or educational system upgraded?
In terms of mental health.
Yeah, when we spoke to
For
the
mental health
psychologist, she did mention that like there's been more efforts to like pay more attention to mental health of students. So we're moving in the right direction. Even though it took
Pay a big price.
to an unfortunate incident lah, but hopefully it doesn't happen again.
I feel like I've always advocated, or like I've been trying to push for like, why isn't mental health like getting more attention, especially when like in early childhood? And I think this helped to like really just like bump that up the priority list lah. Yeah, which I think is a very good thing.
There was actually this thing that I saw on TikTok that was quite interesting. It's called gentle parenting. So then, but she gets a lot of shit for it lah, because like people say that she manipulating her child or what. But then her child can articulate himself very well, like talk about his emotions, like go through his emotions and all that, right? And can even like express himself to like the younger brother about why he doesn't like certain things that the younger brother is doing.
Wow.
Which I thought was really interesting, because it's like she explains it as like your child understands why certain things are wrong, instead of not doing it out of fear of like being scolded or being punished for it.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was quite interesting. Like in general, how we are the treatment of the younger generation nowadays is changing also.
It's hard though. I think about it, but like I also got pretend that I'm very sad, so my parents don't scold me anymore. You know, I also pretend that I'm a bit more broken, so my teacher don't give me more shit. You know, like more sad about my results. Like even as recent as during my NS, when I ran 917 and I was so proud of myself, I still need to pretend that I said, so they don't give me shit. But deep down, I'm so proud of myself though. And I feel like this happens more in, like, we want to do this at scale for children. There's systemic difficulties here, especially when Singapore, when there's conscription army, for example. Yeah, there's bound to be so many loopholes. And
I think on one hand, like, you don't want people to abuse the system, because that would set us back so far, especially if we're opening up to like mental health awareness, right? But at the end of the day, everyone's going to find, like, there are going to be people who are going to find loopholes and abuse the system. Like now you can chowking with MC also, people still do it anyway. So like, I think the bad apples will always exist lah. I think it's still a good movement that we're going towards. Number 3.
Top 3.
In stupid boomer news, because a lot of this stupid boomer news took place, right? We're just compiling all of this, right? In April, a woman by the name of Biao Tan came into the light. Ooh.
who's she?
I think she the MRT filming people one.
Yes. So
Then
she
there's-
has.
Yeah.
No, yes. So she has a YouTube channel.
YouTubers, your fellow YouTubers. Shout out our channel.
Shout out.
Her channel got terminated, by the way.
Please don't subscribe to her.
Oh yeah lah, okay lah.
Make sense.
Should be, yeah.
No, but the fact that it
Cannot
took
shut
that
up.
long, like they don't have an algorithm to like figure out racism, right? But basically, she was.
Much, yeah.
Yeah, the expectations.
No, cause her audio bad. Her
Yeah, YouTube,
audio
what the hell are
bad.
you doing, right? Come on.
She's like this woman in her 50s who went around like public areas, right? But most notably like an MRT station, to film like with people, and like was being super racist. Like she would like find this like Malay person or this Indian person, right? And then like question like, hey, what school you go to?
Oh,
Then like show off like she's a
right.
like Hwa Chong student and stuff like that.
What did she want to say though? Do you remember? Does she have a conclusion?
Her conclusion is that like we shouldn't have to. I mean, we as in Chinese people shouldn't have to mix with Malays and Indians because they are very different from us and lower class from us. Based on
yes.
some of the
It's
stuff that I
damn
said in her
up.
video, lah, which I strongly disagree with, of course.
But someone's just gonna clip what you just said just now.
I wonder if she has, I wonder if
We
she has like a
Chinese.
strong intro outro for her YouTube videos. Like be yao.
Sorry, speaking of Chinese people, right? Then is the Joshua Tan one his version of? Is it because I'm Chinese?
Yeah.
Maybe maybe
Because you know how racism also, right?
Yeah.
Is it because I Chinese? That what happened this year also.
There
Last year
actually is a
uh-huh.
study this year conducted. I don't know commissioned by which I think it's a government entity, right? To find out why the Malay community is overrepresented in a normal technical stream.
What's the answer?
No, they're still studying to figure out why. Yeah.
It'd be interesting to find out.
Yeah.
In other stupid women news, we 2021 also gave us the badge lady. So she was the woman who was filmed in
MBS
MBS.
Karen.
Yeah.
Not because she has a badge, right?
No.
Asking for a badge, right?
So a safe distancing ambassador approached her to wear a mask, and then she was like, "Who are you? Where's your badge? Why are you asking me to wear a mask?"
Right.
And she was so against wearing a mask that every time she would be like, she will appear publicly, like she will purposely just not wear a mask.
You think if she was really, really hot, right? We would be like, yeah, she has every right to ask those questions.
Oh my god, like the Natalie Xiao that got released from prison and everyone following her.
Yeah, then you see, right, if she was hot, right, then everybody follow her on IG, right? Then suddenly now she getting influencer engagements.
And then everyone just starts to stop wearing masks.
I'm going
How
to post a
wait,
list of all the clients that Natalie Xiao has in the comments below. Go and cancel these fucking brands.
How she got clients?
Don't be double
It's
standard
not how
about
she be
cancelling.
influencer.
No, like many donations or what? All the Sims.
Okay, but yeah, the badge lady, right? No, then she kena spotted like several other times, even after she's going through the charges and whatnot,
Every
right?
time she appears in public, she will just like take off her mask. I think after, like when she appeared in court, she wore a mask. Then after, right, she purposely take out in front of like the news.
Oh,
reporters.
think she
I remember
liked the
smiled,
attention?
she smiled.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it's attention. It's that point when once you stand for something and you get caught for this, and it's so like nationwide already, and it's so hard to like, oh, I'm gonna go to court, and so I'm gonna wear a mask. You know, you want to stand for something, just like how
Yeah.
like in front of your friends you don't want to cry. I feel like it's the exact same rationale.
And the whole thing was happening during the period where there was this whole anti-vaxxer conversation going on
Right.
also. So then she kind of
She
was
very
like
timely,
Yo, hey, speaking of anti-vaxxer, I want to say something, but I'm gonna keep some details anonymous because both of them were there. So.
Oh god.
So we were doing an interview together. You were not there.
At 2 o'clock. Okay, okay.
Damn annoying, sia.
I think it was actually
But yeah, it's about 2 o'clock.
Okay, I'm gonna go.
About 2:02, you off by about 2 minutes. So the interview question was, did you lose anyone, like any loved one this year? And then she told me, and she said that she lost her mum to COVID. But she said she don't want to offend anybody in the room or anyone that took the vaccines and whatnot, but at least her mum is clean. And I want to say, this lady, when I introduced myself to her right before the interview, not like we had a prior relationship, she was very nice.
So sweet.
She's a very sweet
But
lady.
you have to say the heart condition part first. Like
Yeah,
her,
so
her
then I
actual
asked,
reason.
so at first I asked her why didn't she take the vaccine lah, just as a prompting question, just to see whether I can get her to warm up for the
Yeah.
interview, right? And then she said, because she had a heart condition, so we thought, okay, fair enough,
Makes sense.
fair enough. Like even if your doctor say you can take, you own self don't want to take because
Yep.
you know your body best, right? And you feel like you have an underlying heart condition, so you don't want to risk it. I feel like fair enough.
She's in her 70s also.
Yeah. But then after that, she said, when we went to the mother side of things, right? She said, at least my mom is clean. Then I knew something was off already.
Yeah.
And then she said, this vaccine is just fetus blood. And it's just a test only. And everybody that took the vaccine are just testers only.
In
You're
experiment.
putting fetus blood in your body. Then, and you can tell she is pure one. She is a very nice person. And this is what she truly believes in.
Yeah. You know, like there's no convincing her out of it.
Okay, does she have like family, like children?
I don't know.
Because it feels like
yes
she's
lah, right?
very disconnected,
yeah, so like she's
right?
just
Like
purely
somebody
misinformed.
definitely fed her that misinformation, right?
Yeah.
And I feel very sad because it was a very long day. And I told myself, do I want to fight this fight now? Because we had to finish the interview.
We all
restraint, then the video go up.
Yeah. No, but I think we all thought the same
Fetus?
thing.
Yeah.
Fetus?
We all thought the same thing because I remember like I remember looking at John going like, is he really gonna pick
Yeah,
this fight
because
now?
like the normal me is gonna like
Choose the
fucking
fight,
this,
yeah, choose the fight.
No, but the funny part is because we all like look
Because
at
I know
each other,
Mutai as
right?
well.
Yeah.
But then we all
Oh shit.
But I had no choice lah. I don't want to get manslaughter.
we
all-
sort of old woman somewhat.
Yeah.
What's wrong with men's laughter?
Yeah, sexist.
But yeah, it really goes to show how uninformed a lot of people are.
Yeah, and like many of these anti-vaxxers,
Or maybe she's right and
don't
we
call
just
it
don't know
anti-vaxxers,
it
like
yet.
people that reject the vaccines even though they are eligible, right? I feel like they are really living in another world that it's not really on the same plane as us. To the point whereby it's not like there are information gaps that they haven't processed. It's that their entire circle engulfs them in shit.
In other stupid boomer news, 2021 also gave us the Umbridge CEO. So he's the SPH.
Yeah.
Bridge CEO.
He's the SPH. He's going to be remembered for this for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
How
Cool,
shag.
at least you remember something.
Yeah.
That's
like-
also true. Yeah.
There you go.
But anyway, when
Okay.
for those who don't know, when SPH announced that they were going to move in to become like a non-profit organization, someone from CNA or MediaCorp, basically their competitor, like asked them like, oh, so like, will you maintain your editorial integrity because now you're going to accept donations, right? Are you going to be able to talk about your donors in a like
Negative, right?
neutral light, right? And then he was like, I take umbrage in that statement. And then everyone just like remembered the entire press conference for only that.
Honestly, right, before I went to Google what this word meant, doesn't it sound like you're sheltered for something? Like I take umbrage, like I take shelter.
Umbrella, man.
Umbrella, like
yeah.
umbrella plus bridge.
Like you imagine a hermit crab like just
That's what I
crawling
imagine.
in.
Then turns out completely off.
I think a lot of people thought of Dolores Umbridge
Yeah, same.
from Harry Potter. Yeah. Same vibes,
Same vibes.
Same vibes.
She also very umbridgy.
Yeah. Very
Yeah,
proper.
like I'm bitch.
Oh.
Hey, take it too far.
Yes, yeah, you
Every time
always
take it too
know.
far. No, you always.
2021 also wasn't a great year for racial harmony because we had a lecturer who was very racist to a interracial couple, asking them
what
why.
happened
why
to that
they
guy?
together.
He got fired,
He got fired.
I think.
He was a lecturer, right?
Yeah.
From Nian or something. Oh, yeah.
SP, I think.
But that's it. He just lost his job. Too light a sentence.
Oh, I don't know whether he got charged though.
That guy also showed a lot of restraint, right? He tried to have a proper conversation with the other fellow.
He was a Ngee Polytechnic lecturer.
Oh, hey, wow.
Ian?
Yeah.
No, I feel like, do you watch the video?
Yeah.
I did.
Like, the moment you start repeating what the other person say in an argument, right, it means you're losing already.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's so annoying though. Like my sister would
But you're
get
so
me,
annoying,
sia.
right?
Wait, but is you then not the ultimate comeback? Like,
No, it's
like,
not.
even if people say your mother, then you come back. You then there's no
Yeah.
comeback to that.
Your mother, like that.
No, for the longest time, I always thought your mom was like that. Because you just said your mom. It's like, how do I come back from that? But
You
you are
then.
right. You then is then the counter of that.
No, but it's very dangerous because usually when you say that, you have to be super cool. You have to be like, your mom. Then you just turn and walk off. But the risk is that they either like, wow, I lost, then they recede, or they just lap you in the back of the head. Yeah, it's a very big risk. No, man.
I also cannot relate
Your
to
mom.
this.
Okay, whatever.
We need to-
Because you have to like act cool when you drop the your mom, you know what I mean?
Actually, right, would you fire an employee because if such a thing happened? Like you find out that they are racist.
Yeah,
Outside
like I
of
go and got a video of me go and attack somebody for racist reasons.
Wait, where's
I
this
might
video?
actually.
Because they represent like the company. lah.
Is it because of bad
yeah.
image?
I won't like fire them, go to the PR and say, oh, we have fired this person, no longer associated with us. No lah. I'll just probably say our values don't align. Because honestly, values don't align. I fired before.
So what's interesting, speaking of a teacher and values, right, was that recently there was a MOE teacher who was made to resign because she was found on a sugar daddy like website. Right?
Oh, so who found? That's my question. Is
So
it the students?
So some man said that he found her and he knew that he was a teacher. And then reported her. But what was he doing on the website?
Yeah, is he a parent?
Apparently so. If not, how will you know?
But then either way, no matter, it doesn't even matter if it was a sugar baby or not, right? But you cannot. Teachers are actually they're quite strict, right?
The
There are
moonlighting
rules.
clause.
The moonlighting.
Not just moonlighting, but there are a lot of things they are quite strict about.
Like,
Is it because they're role model?
Yeah, so I was like looking through Reddit and like Facebook and a lot of the debate was that okay, on one hand like a lot of people say okay teachers are supposed to be role model to students, right? So you can't be doing these things. But then on the other hand also it's like she was doing this during her free time. If we take away the moonlighting like thing altogether, this is her own personal life. It's not like as though she's putting her body onto OnlyFans. You know, it was just to earn extra income.
even if she put her body on OnlyFans though, her problem
No, but I
But
mean,
if a student
OnlyFans
sees-
is like can find, you know what I mean? Versus like she's putting herself out there on social media,
Yeah.
which her students might easily be able to access.
Right.
Yeah. So
Versus this sugar book
Sugar
scenario.
book is just it's
sorry.
her own
So the
personal
reason why it's so difficult for me to come up with an example is because the example not good. It was basically I was talking to this teacher, then I was talking about like having sex outside or in public. Then I say, try not to as much as possible because if you kena caught, it's like twice the punishment, or you will definitely lose your job. You know what I mean? Versus if you are working in public sector, private sector, whatever, right? Then not so
It's a
serious.
good laugh lah.
Yeah. Yeah, so not a great example.
Sorry, as in what you Tinder match with a teacher, is it? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Hello.
Sure.
And then you're talking about having sex.
Because he like to ask what's your extreme fetishes.
Yeah,
question.
Can I shit on your chest?
So the second story, which is the highlight of 2021, was that former WP MP,
Oh yeah, formers, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
former WP MP Raisha Khan
GGWP.
admitted to Parliament that she lied, and then after that decided to bring down the whole party down with her.
She do want Takashi 69, yeah.
You just snitched.
Then next one you see her hair all rainbow.
She got a tattoo.
Island boy. Sorry, the hairs coming together.
So for those who don't know, she basically in Parliament like 3 months ago basically shared an account that like she followed a sexual assault victim to the police station to report it, and then was basically accusing the police for not being able to handle sexual assault incidents properly lah, right? And so then she was then grilled about the details about it by Minister Shanmugam, and then she after that realized like shit, like she can't tell, like I think at first she said that it's a personal account and she didn't have the permission to like share the details from like the person she followed, and then it turns out that she actually lied about it lah. So that hoo-ha finished in like October, and then because she was then made to go under like some committee, like disciplinary
Like investigation.
panel, right? And then it was found that she actually told the WP leaders about it beforehand. While they initially told her to come clean, they were then convinced to let her like continue with the lie, because like she said she hadn't told her parents about it. She was also a sexual assault victim, and so then it was quiet for like 3 months, and then she came out to admit it.
But there are so many, like the story keep changing, you know? Like I think, so then in our group chat also sent like a Reddit post, right, about a lawyer that broke down this incident. And there are apparently like 3 main sequences of events that went down.
Which is?
Oh, okay.
Sorry,
So basically the first one, right, was that when during the disciplinary hearing, right, she said that she was there was this lawyer that basically went to Facebook to like break it down, because I think the initial reaction from everybody was like, oh my god, WP bad, how can the leaders of WP like condone this whole thing. Like I think the initial reaction, so the article that came out after the hearing was that WP leaders told Raisa Khan.
This voice comes from where?
It's the news voice.
Dramatic.
WP.
So straight away when this happened, I think Straits Times or CNN or what published an article that said WP leaders Pritam Singh and Sylvia Lim told Raisa Khan to take the lie with her to the grave, which actually wasn't quite accurate lah. So the lawyers broke it down and said that MP Edwin Tong was the one that was asking her questions, and so she gave 3 answers, and the 3 answers were quite inconsistent from each other. So the first one was that when Edwin Tong asked her about the reaction of the leadership, WP leadership, upon being told that she told a lie, right, her answer was that it was an incredible disappointment. There was a lot of anger, but I think there was some compassion there. And so then he said, okay, let me clarify. Let me understand the statement. She said that the reaction was that if I was not being pressed, then the best thing to do would be to retain the narrative that I began in August. Right? So her first answer was that the WP leaders was okay with her to retain the lie.
After being disappointed.
Yeah. Mr. Edwin Tong clarified, let me understand the last statement. You said that if you're not going to be pressed, then you're going to retain the narrative to start in August. It means that if you can get away with it, you don't have to clarify the lie, correct? And then Raisa said, I think the simplest answer to that question is yes, you are correct. So this is version 1, right? She was told to retain the lie. Then when Mr. Edwin Tong rephrased the question, right, he said, and so the WP leadership who was present there, their initial reaction to being told that there was a lie of falsehood said in Parliament was to try and duck the issue if possible, right? And if it doesn't come up, then the truth did not need to be told. And then Raisa gives, according to a lawyer, gives a second version of events, which was very different from the first, which is that I have to say that Pritam Singh's initial response was that I should go to the Committee of Privileges first, but after discussions with me and me explaining the circumstance that led me to this, that changed. So this is version 2. Version 2 was that Pritam Singh's first reaction was actually to tell Raisa to go to the Committee of Privileges. And according to the lawyer, this is his own take. This seems like the most believable version because this was averse to Raisa's interest because it shows that she was told to come clean. And then also it makes sense because a seasoned politician like Pritam Singh would immediately tell her to come clean. So this feels like a believable version of events. Okay, so comes version 3 of events, right? So version 3 of events is when Raisa had a WhatsApp conversation with her 2 assistants, right? And so in the WhatsApp conversation, after the meeting with Pritam Singh, Raisa tells her assistants, right, that the WP leaders had told her to take the information to the grave. And this was what, when they say 2 other people corroborated the story, right? They corroborated Raisa's account of the meeting.
Right.
So they weren't at the meeting.
They weren't at the meeting. So again, if we believe what the lawyer believes, which is that the version that is the most believable is that Pritam Singh first said, you should go to the Committee of Privileges. Raisa then says, this is my situation. I'm also a sexual assault victim. I haven't told my parents about it. And then Pritam Singh said, okay, you don't have to come clean. She then tells the assistants, leaders told me to take this lie to the grave.
That sounds like the most believable actually.
Yeah.
Because I feel like when we account for something that we have some wrongdoing in, right, then we always tend to favor ourselves, right?
Yeah.
So it's not actually entirely accurate because the headlines was that WP leaders told Raisa Khan to take the lie to her grave because that's technically her account of the situation.
Right. There was this show that I was watching, right, that talked about like how when police interrogate you, right, then they will always try, I think in the similar to what Edwin Tong did, right? Like keep asking her the same questions or like keep asking her to rephrase certain things. So they say that if someone is telling the truth, right, when you ask them the same question again, they will tell you a slightly different story, but then all the facts will line up like it's consistent. But then like how to tell someone is lying is one, clearly there's inconsistencies. Two is if they tell you the story exactly the same way.
Because then they're memorizing it.
Yeah. So that was quite interesting.
Hey, thanks for the tips.
Yeah. Also, just now I was looking at the post that he was reading, right? So I think one of the comments that stood out to me was that this is why you cannot trust SJWs. I mean, not saying that she's a SJW, but in general.
But she is lah.
She is.
She is.
So their key rules are feels over reals. What I feel is more valid. And second is more narrative. Everyone and everything can be sacrificed for the sake of my narrative.
I think the most important thing is to look at what she was trying to achieve, right? She was trying to make sure that the Singapore Police Force is able to handle sexual assault cases with more sensitivity and better.
But was there an issue there in the first place? If
I mean, it could have been a cause that she was championing and she had to be seen championing that cause. But either way, it's
It's a solid question though.
like if there's no issue in the first place, then why should
the fact that Min Chuan was so like he pressed her for the date and the time and he's ready to investigate. You can tell he feels like this could be bullshit already. Yeah. The fact that he was so confident of that means this is a problem. If it feels to me that this is a problem they dealt with years ago.
I wonder what he noticed. I wonder what he noticed.
Yeah.
Because like prior to this case, right, I thought that, how come everything is investigated? Like everything you bring up is investigated, but actually not, right? It's specifically because she's accusing the police, right?
Yeah. Also, all three of them, Minister Indrani, Shanmugam, and Edwin Tong are all lawyers.
Scary, yeah. But so exciting as well.
It's such an interesting thing because like it really shows that this profession permeates your traits. And helps you find the truth. Like what they teach in law school is very, very relevant to helping you find the truth.
But also, so like going back to like what she was trying to achieve, right? There was no need to lie to like achieve what she wanted to say. She could just come out and say, hey, like I think this is a cause that I believe in. She didn't need to reveal that she was a victim of it, and just say, I think we all should do better, you know?
But I guess times,
I guess
yes, I think
it's the SJW narrative that she's trying to defeat also. Right? Like
by doing it more.
We feel like she's a social justice warrior, right?
Having a real story.
Yeah, so do you want to like, anybody got anything to add? Me. What about sexual assault victims? You know, when like we are talking about like COVID management, we're talking about funding and all that stuff, then she just wants to come out and talk about her thing, right? I guess without that story, to her it might feel like
a flighty.
Yeah, she don't want people to just fucking roll their eye when she
take her seriously lah.
Yeah, so she came out with a story. I mean, in my head, that's how I would imagine why someone would lie about this.
But is that then not a very poor impression of Parliament then?
It's horrible.
Yeah. I mean, she's not.
They're like, if I talk about sexual assault, they're gonna roll their eyes at me.
But that is the narrative now, right? You yourself call her SJWY.
Because she is lah, and she's proving it more and more. Like because of the previous incidents also
because of the stuff she brings up, right? That doesn't always feel very pertinent to the crisis at hand.
Or is it because
it's the way she brings it up. Like I do you remember the accounts of the election one? Like she was trying to bring up a conversation about something else also, but the way she did it also like cannot say.
She had some tweets that were called out.
Yeah.
That I think was a little bit like I think she called out racism if I'm not mistaken, but it was very aggressive.
But specific to this case, right, and how everything's unfolding, right? I didn't know that you can go and watch on YouTube like all the
this is a very recent thing, you know. Being able to live stream into Parliament.
Interesting, yeah.
Wait, hasn't it been on CNA for the longest time?
Yeah, but not live stream.
Not in its full. Yeah.
If I'm not wrong, this is a 2021 development.
Hey, another highlight.
Oh wow.
So everyone who wants to watch the full extent of Parliament can now go and live stream it.
But you see, it's like only a couple of thousands. I think only the Raisa case suddenly like so many views, right?
And one of the issues is that people are questioning whether this is a smear campaign against WP, right?
Oh, there was one theory that Raisa Khan is a PAP spy sent to the WP to tear them off from the inside.
The ultimate Trojan horse.
Trojan horse. I mean, like we also have to like balance it out that she had been part of the grassroots of like WP for a very long time. She volunteered in like the
That's how the best spies do
you gotta do what you gotta do, you know?
So it's like Infernal Affairs.
Yeah, exactly.
From
she's Nicholas
episode 1
or some shit.
And so the number one story, to no one's surprise, the NOC saga.
Okay lah, enough said lah, this one.
I mean, there was a lot of debate, right? Like I was internally debating myself, like, should this be number one? It's predictable, but also it was really the thing that everyone talked about. I had people who never even watched NOC, right, that went, oh my god, NOC saga.
But do you think it made a difference?
I think it made a lot of bosses very scared and also made them like reflect on their boss likeness in their
our boss
office.
quite scared. Our boss quite scared.
Jackie was like, oh, panic.
Confirm have to like double check yourself out. Like,
Confirm
oh,
lah,
shit.
confirm.
Do I need to change the way I talk
Check
to my employee?
yourself.
I did open up our group chats and search and then I see. Don't have. Clean.
Don't have.
I never scold people lah. I just say
That's fucking nice, yeah, your design.
yeah. I want to say that I feel like the reflection of the year, right? You look back, right? Big things, terrible things happen to people, then society improves. It's like such is the way of life. And to get to where we are today, right?
Fair enough.
Many people have gotten a lot of shit from many things for the system to be what it is today.
What were some good things that happened this year though? Like
Sheng Siong?
aside from Sheng Siong. Oh no,
like,
Sheng Siong the only
Vaccines.
thing.
We had
For
vaccines.
every bad thing that happened today, a good thing happened. It's just that it's impolite to say.
Karma.
So
Stay
for
tuned
example,
for the monk
we look at what happened in River Valley.
Right.
Like, which is a terrible thing. Like, we cannot say it's impolite to talk about the silver lining in this, but there really are silver lining, right? Look at how the schools taking mental health seriously. This conversation becoming very real.
Yep.
Students and teachers exposed to counselling for the first time, which will then be normalized throughout their lives and with their peers, and people then know that counselling helps. Because I think the whole framing of counselling and all that stuff is always, oh, we are here to listen. We have to listen. Then I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, even today, you look at the ads today. We start by listening, or we're here to listen. Then it's like, I'm not paying $180 an hour for you to listen because I can talk to a rock, what? Yeah. So it's like, you know, but now I'm exposed to the system. At Mass, we have 4,000 kids and teachers that are exposed to this system, and they can go and be advocates and tell people this system works.
So maybe in 2022 we will have sugar baby teachers.
That's not a takeaway.
Oh wait, no. So we have to do our
Idiots of the
our own
Stress.
idiot.
Tired already,
Each of us has to choose like our top idiot of 2021. No,
Oh, okay, no, I have one idiot. I don't know whether it's the most idiot, but y'all can tell me in the comments.
Okay.
Is Sylvia's lawyer. Cause he come out with the whole statement, right? Then after that, he own self gonna caught out for abusing his employees.
No way, really? Is that what happened?
Yeah. Like he came out and then people went to look for this law firm, right? Then they realized that this guy himself is screwed up one.
He was caught on CCTV.
Oh, that one?
He's the guy.
Yeah.
Alamak!
Yeah. Okay, that's my contribution.
That's a good one, yeah. That's a
How
very
to
solid
still be a
one.
lawyer?
That's a very good one.
Thank you.
Damn.
Oh, that's the one he shot at his employee.
Yeah, yeah.
Then he's like, boss, not now, boss, not here, like that. Oh, shit, that's a solid. I didn't know.
I think in honor for the list, and also that he was like charged this year.
What?
It's Dikosh lah.
See, this year never do anything.
But I
still
mean it,
enough from you.
I mean it in such a reverent. Okay, very bad things. He did very bad things, but in
there's a good
honor of the
series.
content, Dikosh.
Oh, he should get a place lah.
He should get a place.
Yeah.
We didn't even mention him.
We butchered his format, by the way. His is so engaging and fun. I was like, f***ing drawn out and tiring.
He also gave us our first 100k view video.
Oh yes.
Hey,
So
thank
special
you.
shout out, Idiot of the Year for me, Dikosh. What's up?
Technically, if you scroll down, our KTV cluster is the first 100k.
I want to say that the idiot of 2021 for, like in my head, I
Don't
think.
tell me it's yourself. I beat you.
Okay, the top idiot of 2021 for me is us lah. Because like I feel like we could have produced more content for you guys, and that's what we're going to try to do in the next
Hype
year.
over this.
Hi, we purposely forced to come out with something so you can say that.
I some more thing. Like,
No lah, I thought we were gonna have already ma. Lame, how I know you're gonna get stuck here? Oh, this is the exact reaction I really wanted, and you can end on this. Thank you for watching. Happy New Year.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. 2021 was a crazy year, lots of highlights, and hopefully 2022 will be more eventful in a positive note. We also just want to wish you a very, very happy new year. Lots of love, joy, and hope. We'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.
Love, joy, and hope.
Bye.
Yeah.
Eat, pray, love.
Eat, pray, love.